Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to introduce the VEIT BAT 1 scales, its accessories, and also take a look at how to use it and how to use its printer. So if you have bought the full kit, you'll have the nice carry kit with the little parts for inserting the different implements. You'll have the standard hook, which comes as standard. You'll have the advanced hook as well for catching the bird's legs, charging cable, cigarette lighter attachment for charging in your car, the scales itself, which I've turned on here, and also your user manual as well. So we have our scales suspended from a fixed point. We now need to add one of the hooks. So the hook I'm going to use for this one is the advanced weighing hook. And to attach the hook, basically the eye of the hook, basically onto the hook of the scales. And now that will obviously add weight. So we need to zero that weight to take into account the hook. And to zero the weight, we basically just a quick press of the X button, and that will zero the weight. And you can see it's now zeroed. Now, whenever I put the hook on to the scales, there was obviously a loud beep, and that beep was the weight of the scales of the hook being registered. And whenever the scales is stabilized and the weight is fixed, it will basically make that noise, and it will register as one chicken having been weighed. And so that will be then added into the memory. But obviously we need to remove that weight that has just been added. So in order to do that, you press the arrow that's pointing to the I guess left as you're looking at the screen, or the delete button. So press the delete button, and then it will ask you, really delete last weight 0.265, and you press yes. So that's the tick. So now we're going to start weighing some chickens, and obviously I don't have any chickens here, so I'm going to add on just a few different weights. So I'm going to use a couple of weights that I'll use at the same time. You'll see it registers the weight, and I just lift it back out. So these are really nice weighing hooks, in that they just easily allow the bird to be taken in and out. I'll just put that back in again. That's it, weighed again. So you can see here, every time it beeps, it registers in a new weight, and it always brings itself back to zero. So I'm just going to keep on doing that until I get 10 weights put in. I'm going to use a heavier weight this time now, I guess, to show what this scales can actually do. Great job. And there we go. And each time you're taking the scales out, you can see it's going back to zero, so you can, whenever it stabilizes. Now, if it is a case that you are weighing some birds and say a little bit of dirt or something goes on the scales, and you notice that it's not coming back to the zero, then you can quickly just press that X button in the top left, just a quick 1 second press, and that will zero the weights. Now, if you happen to press it for too long, it'll turn the scales off, but whenever you turn the scales back on again, the memory will have been kept in the actual weighing scales, and it'll still register, as we see here now, as 10 chicks having been weighed, and the last weight that's there is that 1.459 of a weight. So now when we want to get a look at what we've just done in terms of weighing, what we do is we press the stats button. So just press the stats button, so that's the arrow up, it'll beep, and then it'll bring up this file. So what you can see here is just a very quick overview of what we're after doing. So the first one with the little chicken beside it is the number of birds that we have weighed. So in this case, it's 10. The next one underneath it, in terms of the weight symbol, is 2.003. That's the average weight that we're after weighing. The 1.146 is the standard deviation of the weights that we've just looked at. The CV is the coefficient variance, so that's the variance in weights, or the variability. And then the bottom one is the uniformity, so in terms of what it is, and in this case the uniformity is down as 0 because we haven't weighed that many birds at all. You can also get yourself a histogram. So the histogram, you can see either you can go cancelled, which is the X in the bottom, or you can go to histogram, which is the tick. And if we get the histogram, we can see here that quite diverse weights, obviously, because we have two opposite ends of the scale, and you can see that this is your arrow here in terms of the weight. So this is the average weight, 2.010, which is where this is currently sitting, and you can then move it. So you can basically move that bar across, and whenever you're dealing with a population of birds which are more uniform than the weights that I have given the example of, you will see that as you go down through it, it'll show you what that weight is that the bar is highlighting, and the number of birds that fall within that weight range as well. So if I keep going down here, you'll see we get to this bottom one, and it's in that bar, it's 1.470 is the weight range here, the average weight of the birds in that range, and you can see of the 10 weighings that we did, 8 of them were within that weight. So next I'm going to show you how to print. So this is your printer here, so it is. If I just leave the scales in for a minute and show you the printer. So in terms of the paper, paper is placed in with the roll coming out as such. Just close the lid down, nice click. In terms of connecting it, there is a lead in your printer box. In terms of this connection here, you have to press the button on the bottom to release it. And then it's just a case of pushing it back in, and you'll hear a nice firm click. And in terms of this one, it's just a jack, so you just insert the jack into the side of the weighing scales, okay? And then just to turn on, press the on button. You can see the lights on here. If there's a red and green flashing light in terms of a slow flashing light, it's typically because the paper is not being fed through properly. So I always tend to leave just a lip coming out as such. So there's a few things that we just need to do first before we start, and that is I need to go to the menu and I need to go to maintenance. So if we go to maintenance and just press the tick to get into the maintenance. And what we wanted to go to is we want to go to the printer. And in the printer, so I've changed it in this one already, but whenever you go into your printer, you will find that it says that it's a 32 width, when in actual fact this printer is 48. So you'll just need to change that. And to change that, it's just the press the tick button to enter in. You'll see the numbers become highlighted. So the flashing one is over the first digit, so we can go up or down to adjust that. So I believe that whenever you'll start your scales, it'll be at 32. So again, just highlight that, then the arrow over to get to the outside one, and then up and down to toggle it. And then whenever you're done, press OK. In terms of the communication speed and the communication format, everything is perfect there, so you don't need to do anything. So to bring yourself back to the user, to the front page, so to say, first, just press the X button, keep pressing it till we come out, and we're back to where we were. So what we want to do now is we want to print that weighing that we just did. So in order to do that, you go to the menu, you'll hear the beep. You're going to go down onto statistics, so down arrow and then press tick, and we're going to go to print. And what we're going to do is we're going to print this file. So this is just this file that we've been in, which is one file. So we just go here to press that. You'll see that the file that we're looking at has the 10 birds in it. Press OK. And then we want to go for total statistics and histogram. So press OK again. It'll ask you to start printing, and again, yes. And then you can see it'll start printing now. So we'll that's us. So then you'll be able to see total number of birds that have been weighed, 10, average weight 2.002 kgs, standard deviation 1.45 kilograms, the CV of 57, the uniformity of 0 because they're quite out, and then basically the birds that have been weighed. Now, so we've printed off what we needed to print off, and the next thing is we're going to weigh another house, and I will create further videos on how to set up pins and houses and everything But in terms of this one, it's just the basic how to use. So we're going to weigh the other house. So the next thing we need to do then in that case is we need to go to menu. We need to go to weighing. So at top of the list, we'll go to active file, which is the one that we're currently using. I'm going to press OK. And we're going to go to delete all weights. And what that will basically do is that will clear the file for the next one. If you don't do that, whenever you go and weigh the next house, the two weights will be added in together. As I say, I will create further videos on how to set up pins, how to set up houses. But again, this is just the basic getting used to using your scales and also the printer. Okay. I hope you found this video useful. And as I say, I will produce further videos. And if you have any concerns at any point, just contact a member of the St. David's Poultry team and they will be more than happy to help you with setting up your scales and your printers as well